Yes.
Lord. Okay, welcome everybody to the Spirit Cafe Sessions podcast. Look at me, I said it right this time. And
Yay.
we are here to talk about sitting etiquette during a reading. Is that what we're calling it? Sitting etiquette?
How to be a
Sitter?
good sitter.
Yeah,
Or
how to be a good sitter. Exactly. Exactly. Which I think is very, very, very important for people to know when they get readings, whether it's from, you're going to medium or you're, going to tarot, whatever it is. It's very important to get that done. I'm going to quickly pull our tarot of the week,
yes.
which let me see what it is. What is the tarot of the week? Okay. All right. I like this. The Nine of Pentacles. By the way, guys, I'm using the deck that Kim got me. So anyone watching the actual videos of this can see how shiny it is. I love it. So this is the Nine of Pentacles. And I actually love this card because the Nine of Pentacles means that we are in a planning stage. We are holding cards close to our chest. We're not really telling people about our plans, about our goals, about our ambitions because we want to work it out. This is also the card of conserving our energy. So we are kind of pulling back a little bit and we are just standing behind our garden, tending to me, myself, and I, because we know if we don't do that, then we are no good to anyone else in our lives, whether that's our spouses, whether that's our children, whether that's even our job. So I like the Nine of Pentacles because it tells me that a lot of the collective for this week, whenever this episode airs, might be feeling that they need to really call back their energy and focus on themselves and their growth and what they want. And I absolutely love that. It actually is one of my favorite cards, Nine of Pentacles. One of my favorites.
Well, that sounds a very great week.
I think so.
Wherever
I
it
think
is.
so. I think so. And I am also drinking, shout out to Kim again. Kim sent me for my birthday. She sent me this cute package of like all these different teas. So I've been going through them and I haven't tried the ones from Ireland yet, but I'm super excited to try those ones. But I did get addicted to the hibiscus tea from Epicure, which is funny because it's Epicure. Like it's so, guys, it's so good because it's sweet and tangy. So like while I do add honey, because we all know here I love my honey, I can drink it without honey. It's just one of those teas and it's caffeine free and I'm addicted to it. And she gave me, I don't even know how many tea bags you gave me, but this is my last one already.
I'm not sure.
Like one, I've got one left and it's in this cup right now. So it's amazing, but I love hibiscus. So anyway, that's the tea I'm drinking.
Oh, I just got my electrolytes as
I was going to
usual.
say.
My bat.
Equally important, and I say it every time because it's true.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Kim, you want to explain this episode a little bit more?
All right. Well, when you go for a reading, it's a lot of people will go in with expectations, whether or not they've had a reading before. If you haven't had one before, sometimes people will go in with fear. And we really just want to talk about how to go into a reading and get the best reading for both yourself and for the reader. There's a lot of factors that can make you have a bad reading because if you're going to try to hide things or whatever, sometimes that just doesn't flow well and it can cause you to have a less than stellar reading.
Absolutely. It's true, though. It's true. I think we've talked about this before. If you have your guard up right away, if you have guard up and you're just not, your energy is just like a brick wall. I mean, for some mediums and for some tarot readers, it will be difficult for them to get through that wall. It will be. And sometimes people don't know actually that they have that wall up, though. I find that a lot of times people don't know. They just either, like you said, they're scared or their nerves shoot in. So they're kind of like, I don't want to give off any information. I don't want to say yes. I don't want to say no. I don't want to believe. I don't want to, which is understandable. But you have to learn to relax into your reading. Okay.
Yes.
Because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be scary. They're not.
No. And if you're going to someone who is just going to give you a reading that is scary, I would suggest making sure that you don't ever go back because, you just want to get a reading. And a lot of these are done, like for me, mediumship, it's all done in love,
Yeah.
light, beauty. I don't go and I don't do anything lower than, the vibration of love. People might be scared, like, oh, so-and-so is going to come in or so-and-so's come in. Or even it's the best because when people find out that you are a medium or whatever, A lot of times they won't even talk to you, or they'll be scared to come near you because, suddenly, I might be able to tell all their secrets and stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
It doesn't work that way.
So
No.
it's just the mindset of people when going for a reading. They can be on the or the people who are, I love skeptics,
Yeah. Ooh.
but skeptics who are just there to purposely prove you wrong and will give wrong answers to trick you. Nobody's, that's not good for anybody. It's just a waste of money, time for everybody.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's a lot of, and Kim and I actually have an episode coming up. I think it's the one that we're doing next, which I'm super excited for. It's going to pertain to the Fox sisters, which a lot of people don't know about, but I'm like obsessed with their story. And, people in this world that did kind of make people become skeptics for a while because they were misunderstood, right? So I think a lot of the times people do go into these readings, whatever readings that they are, and they do have a misconception of what it will be. And that's why it's important to go in relaxed, guard down, and like watch your expectations. Okay. Watch your expectations. Don't have them be, like so incredibly high and yet so incredibly low. Because that's the worst thing that you could do for a reader is expect all this from them, especially during the first reading, because I don't know if it's the same with, mediumship, but maybe Kim can elaborate. If you're getting a tarot reading, you have a time limit. That tarot reader is not going to pull your whole life within 10, 15, 20 minutes to half an hour, unless maybe an hour, maybe, but most will not. Okay. So you have to give the time, give the space, give the patience for the medium, whoever it is, to pick up on what they can pick up in that moment, right? Because I feel like a lot of people lately have all this great expectation when it comes to mediums lately. I like to be their therapist, to be their coaches. And we did talk about that when we had Jill on, which was fantastic. Please go back to that episode and listen to it, guys, because it's amazing. But she does talk about that. Like, people do come to mediums of any form and expect them to guide them in almost every part of their life, right? Because I think that they forget that we're just mediums. Like, we're not, some of us are therapists, some of our, psychiatrists, fantastic, but a lot of us are not. And we can only guide you to a certain limit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and you can't expect to be bringing through some of the stuff that, you definitely want to hear. I know with me, I do try to caution people when I'm giving them readings that you're going to get what you need.
Yeah.
Because before I do a reading, I ask for spirit to bring in whoever can give the most healing to the person that I'm giving the reading for. So that might not be your mom and dad. I just did a reading recently that had a woman there that had never had a reading before. And the people that came out were like definitely not people she had ever expected or really cared to hear from again. But the fact that these people had wronged her so incredibly bad and had caused her to have, just really poor feelings about herself or about the situation for so long, they both came through and apologized.
Wow. See, I
And
love
it
that.
was, yes, it wasn't the people she wanted to hear from, but it gave her some healing to know that. And when I said, like the one person, she said, they never would have apologized to me ever. And it was so much to her that she actually had an apology that she had always really hoped for. And she got it.
I love that. See, that's wonderful. That's what I mean by don't go in with expectations. And you know what? And I'm guilty because I have had some medium readings. With Kim, I actually went in. I did go in with high expectations with Kim. I will tell you I did, but it's only because I knew that you would deliver because I knew you. So I knew. So that's the only time I had high expectations, people. But I also did not expect somebody to show up during my reading with Kim. I did not expect it to be my great grandma. I thought it might have been, my grandfather, my stepmom who had just recently passed, but it was my great grandma that came through. So that's a good example of I did not expect it to be her. Like I did not, like she had passed when I was 18, 19. So it was very I did like it. I felt for some reason I felt so good. Even though that wasn't who I expected to come in, I felt amazing after, liberated, like so loved. I had all this energy, and then the messages I passed on to my mother, like, and then she felt incredible. So sometimes not going in with, or going in not knowing what to expect leads to something like that. So I hope that your client, that's how she felt after she got that, even if,
Yeah, my
even though,
I was told she was very, she was very happy.
see,
She would have loved to have heard from other people, but it gave her like a justification and just a feeling, an ability to just feel, okay, good.
I love
Like
it.
I've got that apology because a lot of us are living, spinning through life. And, if somebody would just apologize for
Yeah.
some of the not great things that they do for you
Yeah.
and mean it, there's a very big difference between someone coming from beyond through a stranger that you've never met
Yep.
and they tell you about some person, you know, gives you an apology, that that's pure,
Yes, I
right?
agree.
Opposed to if they're here and they're like, yeah, I'm sorry. A lot of people aren't really sorry. It's
No.
just sorry I got caught or sorry, you know,
Yeah, sorry is
I'll say
just a word
sorry so
now,
that
unfortunately.
you'll be nicer to me or, whatever reason for that.
Yeah.
So when you're getting a reading, it's very important to not be closed off. I've had a reading once with a woman. We do teas at the church at St. Bridget's. And I had a lady who came in and she kind of grumbled something when she first came in. And I was like, whatever. And then so I was doing the reading and she kept like, no, no, no. And then she kind of, like, oh, well, that sounds like my friend's mom. And then she just seemed kind of upset that this woman was coming through to her. And it was just a horrible reading. I actually had gone out and said to someone, like, can someone else give her like
Oh,
maybe a
no.
tarot reading or something? Because
Right.
I think she didn't like me or I didn't know what was
Okay.
going on. And then after her, another lady came in and that same woman came in. So this was her friend and that was her mom. So I had just mentioned, like, I don't like to, but I just said, oh, it's very bizarre. Because she said, my friend was just in here. And I said, yeah,
Right.
she didn't seem terribly happy. And she said, you know what, please don't take anything that she may or may not have said offense. She was just having a really bad day today. And I think that has kind of colored her whole day.
Yeah.
So she's just very negative. And so I hope that that woman got what she wanted. I felt bad,
Mhm.
but then I felt a little annoyed. Like if you're having a bad day, why would you come and kind of take it out
Yeah.
on me for not being able to? I don't know. I'm not a circus monkey, so I can't just, entertain
No.
you how you wish. I do my best. But when you're coming in and you're kind of grumpy from whatever's going on in the day, I'm not saying don't, people have their moods, but it clearly caused her to be very like negative and not wanting to. And it wasn't that she wouldn't take it or couldn't confirm it. It wasn't who she wanted or what she wanted to hear. And it just kind of left me with a bad taste in my mouth because I still remember her. And that was probably 4 years ago. It's hard and it's hard for the reader. So when you go in for a reading, for your best, try if you can meditate before, if you're able to do that, or just kind of try to do whatever you can to clear your mind. Just say, I'm going in for this 20 minutes,
Mhm.
please, let's let go of anything that doesn't serve me or, any of that kind of idea, just to let it
Yeah.
go. So you're
Yeah.
coming in and come in with a pure, open energy, mind, thoughts. And, if you really want to hear from someone, I can't say that would guarantee them to show up, but talk to them before and say, hey, look, mom, I'm going in for a reading. I would really love if you could show up, and so that's your part. You're not just coming in and completely like you have to have some kind of participation to it. Like you need to because it's the energy that we're sharing, right? It's not just like, it's from spirit through spirit to spirit. So I'm bringing this through. It's just coming through me, right? So if you're not going to be open for that energy exchange, it's not going to go very well.
I
And you're
agree.
wasting both of our times. And not saying, I do this job. I'm not saying that, like, I know that I'm not accurate all the time, but that's also because when you're having this, doing a reading with someone, or and you're getting a reading, you know, you need to be honest with your answers. I say to people, please say yes, no, I don't know. No is very important. I don't want you to just say yes, 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 that's great, and walk away and not get anything. If you don't understand something or if something doesn't resonate, you need to tell me no so that
Yep.
I can go to spirit and figure it out, you know? Uh, and I think so many people we're in this world right now that, you have to do things this way, and there's so many different entities that kind of force you into a little box. This is how you have to be for people to like you or whatever.
Yep.
I'm not, I don't care. I have no judgment about anything that's being said, discussed, whatever. I'm just doing a service of bringing the love of spirit through to you. So I need to have your honest feedback as to whether or not this is making sense. Because if it's not like making sense, I'm going to give you something wrong. I did a reading in a platform through the church one night, and I don't see or hear, but I feel and I kind of know. And so I was kind of feeling like I was pushing like a cart, like something that it kind of made me feel reminiscent back to, like, if you watch Mad Men, or
Okay.
like the 50s, 60s, they would go around in the
Yep.
offices with coffee or whiskey or whatever.
Yeah.
They go around, or mail, they had a cart
Yes.
pushing, and like this, I felt that. And I was bringing it through how I was feeling, and they're like, nope, nope, nope. And it was this woman. I felt like she was very in take charge of her life. She was very, like, she had like a very strong sense of who she was. She didn't have a lot of other things that were out. Well, it ended up what she really was a head RN for the department. So she had the nursing cart she was
Oh,
pushing.
cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if you were telling me no, I th- I needed to hear no for me to go, like, okay, spirit, until I finally was able to get it to that.
Yeah.
So that's why
Oh,
it's
that
so
makes sense.
important. So that would completely change who that person is, whether they're someone who works in a mailroom or someone who is like a head RN at a hospital.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And it's just what I felt, and from the interaction that you get from someone else.
Wow. I like that story. But that's
Yeah, well,
that's
it just
a good point.
really confirms.
Yeah. And it's a good point. It's a good point that participation is necessary in these readings. And I know, like, for a couple of my clients who choose the recorded ones, I mean, the participation is a little bit more challenging because they prefer, a lot of clients do prefer, to send a list of questions, and then I read and I send it back to them recorded and with pictures if they'd like it, of course. And then so there isn't too much of the participation in that sense. Whereas with my live readings, I have that participation and I can sense things and I can sense their mood. Like anyway, participation is important. And even if you're going to a tarot reader who does what I do, because many of them do, they do the recorded readings, be careful not to tell. And my advice would be, don't tell them the whole story right off the bat. I mean, if they are, legit in a sense, and they can pick up energy and they know how to work the cards or whatever you're going to them for, don't tell them your whole life story. Let them work. Let them pick up and see what the cards are saying and give it back to you. That is something that a lot of people, I think, struggle with. And I don't know if it's the same for when people go to a medium. to get these readings. But with tarot readings, I do have a lot of clients at times that will just, send me 3 paragraphs before the reading begins. And I read blind. So when you book a reading and then I see your questions came in, I don't read the questions until I hit record for your reading. I will go in blind, and I do that for that reason specifically, because there has been times where people send me 2 paragraphs of what's going on in their life, and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I didn't need to know that. I got to pick that up as the story goes, so I can see which way the energy might go, right? Because tarot is a little bit different because it picks up, it should be picking up, I should say, energy of where a situation could go, right? Because energy is fluid and it changes. Participation, I think, is very, very important. And it's funny because I did do like the group medium sessions a couple times, and I sat there while people were like stone faced to the medium. So not a word, even though they would claim the spirit. Of course, I don't know if that's what you call it, like claim the spirit. Like they would say, that's my grandma, or
Claim or take, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then they would just be like, I don't know. I don't know. I have done maybe 3 of those, and there's always one person who is like that. And I see that medium struggle, and I see her get frustrated. And I really just want to look at the person and be like, will you just shush for a second? Like shush, right? Or when they interrupt the medium
Mm.
during a reading like that. Like, then the medium struggling to get what that spirit is saying, and I can see them struggling to hear again what is being said because that person keeps cutting them off. So another thing I have to say, and I know I'm jumping in, but if you're going to a medium like him, please don't interrupt them. Please. It's painful to
Well,
watch.
it's not just the interrupting, it's these people who you go, "Oh, so I see this." And, does this make sense? Yes, because that's my grandfather and he left our family when he was blah, like
Yeah,
it's like,
there's stop.
stop, stop. And then like I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, if you're gonna tell me your whole story, then tell me your whole story because I'm not gonna work because,
Yeah.
anything you tell me I can't use.
That's what
Right?
I mean.
So and so it's so hard. It's so hard, and it just like, and I'll say it and I feel bad because sometimes they look kind of hurt, but it's
Yeah,
like, no, like, let me do my job. How can I prove to you that there is a continuous existence of life and that your loved one or
exactly.
whoever is coming through to you if you're going to tell me exactly the whole situation?
Exactly. Exactly that. See, that's what I don't like. And it just bugs me, and I can tell, and I've only done 3, but each time these mediums, 3 different mediums, so kind as to not say anything to the person and so polite, right? But the struggle is there. So I urge you, like, if you ever get a reading with somebody like Kim, like a medium, please just listen to them. You know what I noticed? They pause, like you do that. You ask, like, does that make sense, or does that resonate, or are you understanding? Then that's when you answer. Like, not we're not trying to be like these are the rules, but just it's etiquette. It's etiquette, right? So just wait,
Hmm.
because people get excited. I've seen that. They get excited. They're like, "Oh my god, my grandma, yeah." And we understand you're excited because we're excited for you, because we can pick up on that energy and
I
how it's,
know.
oh my god, how amazed you are that this came through. But just wait, and then wait till the medium asks you questions, because they always do. They're always like, "Does that make sense? Is there anything you'd like to ask?" Like, they do that.
Yeah. Well, because it's also a little different if you're in a group setting. So if there's several people, that's another challenge too. I've had situations where I've had people come with me to watch mediumship demonstration at the church. I wasn't demonstrating, so this is before I demonstrated. And, the people in front of them would start taking a message and they'd just take it all away. But you
Oh,
knew for a fact it was the person you brought.
yeah.
That person belonged to them. And so, if you're in that situation, you have to be like, "Hey, yeah, this makes sense," and not let someone, I guess, force you to not take it because they're trying to. Because you got those people.
Yeah.
You got these people who will try to force the like
Everyone.
biggest square peg into a star shape. They
Yeah.
will keep pushing it and they don't care because they want to take it. And you have to know that that's a possibility that there's someone like there. So you need to stay in. Don't just like, oh, somebody else has got it, I'm not listening. And don't get stuck on, like, for me, if you get stuck on me with ages, that might be a disservice to you because
Mhm.
good with ages. So don't get completely stuck on certain information because, like I was saying before, I can be incorrect. So
Mhm.
if something isn't quite fitting with it, you know, I need to figure out why it's not fitting and why I'm getting that information.
Right, right. That makes sense. It's true though, and I like that you brought that up that you're not always right because I'm not always right. A lot of people will come to mediums or tarot readers, expecting them to be 100% on the ball, and I think we've talked about this before, like a little bit in other episodes. But when it comes to certain readings, whether you go to a mediumship reading and it doesn't make sense what the medium's saying, or you get a tarot reading and it doesn't make sense and it's wrong, no, that didn't happen, that didn't happen, no, that didn't happen. Don't jump down that person's throat because 9 times out of 10, a few days, a few weeks, or a month goes by and you are like, oh my God, she was right. The amount of clients that I've had that have told me myself with my readings, no, this doesn't resonate. And I'll be like, just wait, or no, you're dead wrong. Well, just wait, just wait. They always come back and they tell me, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I forgot you were right that this happened. It's a thing because we're human. We will forget. We have a lot of experiences and especially heavy ones or heavy relationships with people. If they come through and you're telling Kim that, nope, they never did that, or nope, that didn't happen, or what, we do block things off as human beings. It's natural,
Oh, yeah.
it's our psyche, and we might not remember till weeks or months later. So don't be rude about it because we have had people like that be a little bit rude, and we usually just
Mhm.
hit the block button there. But don't be rude. Thank your reader always. Always thank your reader because they will not. Of course, they're going to thank you, right? Like I start every reading with a big thank you. But if it doesn't resonate at that moment in time, you have to realize something. You do not see everything going on in your 3D. You do not. So if a reader or a medium is telling you this is potentially what's happening, you can deny it. But if you are not in that situation that they are predicting, how do you even know it's not happening? Okay, you
Mhm.
assuming, right? And that's a big thing with clients. I've noticed that. And when I jump on TikTok lives and I watch some medium ones or some tarot runs, and they're just like, some people just jumping down the tarot reader's throat or the medium's throat. Don't do that. Don't be unkind.
No.
Like, come on. Okay. And just be patient and wait because I'm telling you right now, 9 times out of 10, what they've said will resonate, or you will find out information and be like, oh my God, that was accurate. I myself have had tarot readings done. Not many, but I have maybe a handful. And there's been times where what they said didn't make any sense. When it came to my school, that's so funny. They told me I was going to go and I was going to help people and I was going to end up in the medical field and I was like, what? No, I'm in law. I'm going to law school. I'm going to be a divorce lawyer. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know what they're talking about. Guess what, people? I work in healthcare and I help people. And I love working in healthcare. I still like the law, but it doesn't interest me as much as that. And so I got that reading and then I fell into healthcare 5 years ago. So always remember that it might not resonate right away. And the same thing with spirits that come by. You might not know 100% what they're saying. Like, I don't mind sharing this. Like, Kim was talking about something that my grandmother had to do with a purse and whatnot, and some rose, like a perfume. I had no idea what she was talking about. I thought she was either wrong or maybe like it was the holy water she always kept on her. And then I tell my mother, and my mother's like, no, this is what this was. I didn't know, but my mother knew. So Kim wasn't wrong. I just didn't have the whole story. I only had what I knew, right? So that's, I think, something that we have to bring into this episode is don't assume everything is wrong right away because 9 times out of 10 it isn't. It's just like something that you don't know yet. That's it.
Well, I do get that a lot. People will say, I had no idea what you're talking about, but I
Right.
checked with someone else and they're like, oh, yeah. Right. And to me, that is actually even more of confirmation that this is happening because I'm telling you something. And how do I even, like, how would I know if you don't even know, but someone else could tell you, right? Just people who think we're fakers or we're making stuff up or like my favorite is, people thinking that we've got the time to sit here and Google everybody. I don't even actually even
I
remember
love
people's
that.
names. So I don't know who
I
you
love that.
are. I don't know anything. There's no secret code or
Yeah.
people telling me, okay, here's the information. I don't have like things in my ears. I don't have the time or the energy. And I'm not trying to. pull one over. Possibly there are people like that, but those are the ones that are in this for the money.
Yes. Wrong
That's
reasons.
really not that's not where my thing for this lies. And it's funny when you bring up someone talking about you doing stuff. I remember it was probably 2015. It was after my dog passed away. And I went to like a animal psychic. She could talk to your deceased animals
Mhm.
as well as your live animals, I guess.
Right.
But I had lost my dog, Allie. And when Allie came through, Allie was always such a energy. She was just the most beautiful dog. I loved her. I missed her so much. I found out she was sick and she died like really quickly after. She had cancer. And so this lady in that reading, when we were talking, and she says to me, one day you are going to be giving me a reading
Whoa.
because my husband's passed away and you are going to be doing mediumship. And I started laughing because I was like, as if, okay, lady. And it happened. Right. So, you got to just sort of, like, I thought it was a big joke. Or I had a reading once and the lady told me a whole bunch of stuff that was going to happen. And I was like, all right, like,
Yeah.
well, guess what? It all happened.
I
And
believe
I
it.
re listened to that message and I was like, oh my God. Like, never in a million years would I've
Yep.
ever guessed a single thing about that.
And that happens every day. It happens every day. I had somebody I read for in February, and it's terrible because and if they listen to this podcast, because now they said that they are and I won't go into details about her and her reading, but there was a big part of the reading that I had for her that she said didn't make any sense. No, it didn't make any sense when it came to her father and all that kind of stuff. And I said, okay, well, maybe I'm off, whatever. So she told me that everything that happened in the reading when it came to do with her father and some missing money was absolutely accurate. She said her family couldn't believe it, that he would, hide all these things from them, that he would, because he was completely opposite. She said she instantly, the second they found out what happened with missing money, she remember my reading, she went back, listened to it, and she just reached out to me about 3 or 4 days ago telling me that, and she couldn't believe it. But that happened in February and it is now November. So look at that, almost a year, right? Where she told me, no, my dad wouldn't do that. No, it doesn't sound like my dad. Maybe, whenever someone tells me that, I'm like, all right, well, we'll see. That's really what I think. We'll see. Because I know that, I'm not saying I'm always right. Of course I'm wrong sometimes. Of course it happens. Sometimes I actually pick up on different things. So I have an example where I read for somebody recently and I said that somebody that they were in a connection with was going to come back and use and want to work with them, and it turned out that it wasn't that person, but it was a different person that came back asking to work with them, which was funny. So stuff like that does happen, right? There can be crosses like that, but usually, yeah, your readings 9 times out of 10 will make sense. Eventually they will make sense, whether it takes like 5 years, like for me with that weird, career switch, or whether it takes how many years for Kim, but it does happen. So,
Mhm.
I don't mind people saving my readings. I actually prefer it. So if you go, I don't know, Kim, if people record your readings or you let them record your readings. You do, right?
I absolutely encourage it. I know a lot of
Yeah.
mediums who don't for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I personally will tell people, you know what? This is my experience from recording readings. The beauty of what that reading did for my life, to have confirmation, because it was such a crazy time that I was like, why is this happening? I can't believe it. It was amazing. And it led me to many, many doors like that have opened, and
Yep.
it's really kind of changed my life. And well, not kind of, it has. And if someone could have that as a gift, to
Yep.
have confirmation, oh my gosh, so and so said this to me, you know, or someone who I've had a couple people now say that, like, one of my readings didn't so much for them or did something for them, like, so they put me in a book they've written, like, that is
Yeah.
just the
Yeah. I
most
love it.
amazing, most, like, heartwarming thing, that when someone can tell you that something you did made that much of a impact
Yeah.
on them. You know, that's why I do it, because I want people to have those feelings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's, you know what? I love that. That leads me to saying, again, tell your medium, tell your tarot reader when something, comes true in a sense, right? Like tell them,
Mm.
send them that message, give them that confirmation, because it is really nice to hear. And also, if it's something great, and we like to hear that it's something great, not just because it, like Kim says, it confirms things for us, but it also makes us feel good that whatever we confirm for you was good. Because 9 times out of 10, what we say is going to happen is something amazing, or something that's going to, lead you into a new, pathway, or, going to break some chords or whatever it is. And we like to hear that, right? So I personally love to hear it when past clients let me know that this was right, or this wasn't right, or this happened. Like they keep me updated, because it does help us. It does help us know that, okay, we're still picking up on
Yeah.
energy. We still got it, all that kind of stuff. But it also makes us feel happy for you guys, because people like Kim and I do it for you guys. We don't do it for the money or the fame that
Hey,
some people try to
Fortune.
get. Yeah. We do it because we like it, and it makes us feel good at making you feel good. So it's selfish in that way. Fine, whatever, fine. But just always let your reader know if you can, of course, because if something rang true, whether it's the week after or 6 months after. I think it's very important to do that.
Absolutely. And I would say one of the most important things that a sitter could do is actually shoot the reader an email after and say, you know what, I really enjoyed
Oh
it and
yeah.
this is what it is, or offer to put on maybe a review, because you have so many people who are scared, don't know who to trust.
Yep.
This is an industry that unfortunately there are people who are not there for the greater and higher good of anyone
True.
other than their pocketbook or whatever, and they will make up stuff. So if you are able to go out and tell people, or do reviews or whatever, um, for them, then other people can look and go, okay, well, look at all these people find this person to be, you know good or
Absolutely.
whatever. And then that can help them and maybe not be so fearful when they sit down thinking, oh, well, they're just going to scam me, or they're just Googling my information, or they're putting stuff on looking on my Facebook.
Yeah.
I guess there are people, because obviously it is, if these people have these, it's obviously happened, but I've never done it ever.
No.
And
No.
unfortunately, I don't even remember people's names. Like, honestly, and never take offense if I don't remember your name. It's just,
It happens.
you can
I'm
tell me your
telling you.
name and like 2 minutes later, I'll be like, oh crap, what was it again?
No, it's right though. Sometimes if you're not one of my regular clients that gets readings every couple weeks, I probably will have forgotten your name. It's human nature. I mean, come on, like you would have in our place, they also would have forgotten our names. Of course they would. So I don't think that anyone should ever take offense of that if a reader just can't 100% remember, especially if you've only gotten one reading and it was like last year or 6 months ago or something like that. It's very difficult sometimes because, hundreds and hundreds of clients come our way. And, we're not going to remember every one of them. Of course, unless they're, somebody that comes every few weeks or whatnot, that's a little bit different. So I do feel like, people need to also remember that. Not that you're not going to be remembered. The second you say your name and you tell your medium, well, this is what you said, this was the reading you gave me, usually that jogs their memory. It does for me anyway. I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember. Yes, yes, yes. And this is what was going on. So just, give them a little bit to jog their memory if you return and they can't remember. Because I'm telling you, they're not doing it on purpose. They're not mean. Sometimes there's too much people. And when you're picking up on a lot of energy or a lot of spirits, I mean, you have to give that medium a break because it's sometimes sensory overload, whether people realize it or not, energetic and sensory overload.
Well, and that's another thing too. When I'm giving readings, a lot of times, like if you come up to me in like a week and say, oh, hey, and start asking me, I'll be like, I don't remember because it's not mine. It's not my message. So I don't retain it, right? I don't remember who I brought through. I don't remember what they said, unless there was something very specific. I don't remember at all because it's none of my business
That's a good point.
and
Yeah.
it's all for you. So, I've had people like, oh, can you tell me what this is going on? Or what about this and this? It's like, sorry, like I'm done. Like I don't,
Yeah,
we can
don't
do
do that.
another reading, but I don't recall,
Yeah, no,
you
no,
know?
don't that I don't like when people do that. I don't like it. It happens to me quite often. That's why I started to include follow-ups in what some of my booked readings, my $15 one, you get your reading and then you get a free follow-up. Don't go to your tarot readers or mediums after you book a reading and then don't try to get freebies. That's not fair. Come on. That's not fair and that's not right. Okay? Especially when they're not when they're charging quite low, because I know Kim charges quite low for as well for what she for her service. But don't do that. Don't try to get freebies. I mean, we wouldn't do that to you. We wouldn't, I mean, it is a pet peeve of mine, but I also at the same time understand why people do it, I mean, when they've gotten these readings and they've resonated so profoundly, like they're going to want to go back to you for help and for guidance, and that's fine, and we will give guidance when we can. And you know what? In some tarot readers, they do throw a, free whatever. I do my free, lives twice a week for everybody. And there are some that will give freebies. Of course, they have deals or they have programs or whatever, and that's fantastic, but don't expect it all the time. I have so many people who expect me to answer their question all the time. It would probably astound most people how many messages I get be like, "Can you answer this question for free?" No, I can't because I have, 13 people to read for today that paid for my services and I have to be fair to them. Right. I'm also not charging an arm and a leg. And a lot of my proceeds actually do go to, the SPCA or the food bank here in Ontario. So it's not even going to me. So no, that's another one. So I'm glad that you brought that up because I really just respect the reader. If they're a reader like me and you can't afford a reading, if they're a good reader and they're doing it for the right readings, you guys will work out a plan. I have had many people who couldn't afford it right now, Kim, even like the $10, they just couldn't afford it. And that's fine. I will work out something else with them because
Mhm.
I want them to get the reading. I can tell they need the reading. So I'll work out something else. That's how it works. Right. So always know that if you're going to a reader that can respect the fact that maybe you can't use that you need that extra $50 and they're going to help figure out some other way that you can give payment, that is a good reader. That is somebody who's doing it for the right reasons because they know that you need it and they're going to help you get what you need by moving, working things around and stuff. It's important.
But you need to be honest. You
Yes.
can't be like just, trying because there are people who can afford it, but they don't want to,
Yep.
and they'll
100%.
try to do it. And that's not cool. I think that kind of will play with your karma because you've tried to manipulate someone to give you a free reading.
Yep.
You got to just remember this is all about love and energy
Yeah.
and the continuance existence of the spirit. And like tarot, I didn't really put too much into it before. I didn't understand it. I can't do it
Yeah.
until I actually had, like I said, this thing like all happened and it was all right there in the tarot. And then I was like, oh my
Mhm.
God, what?
Yeah.
How is this even possible? So you got to be open.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm the
the
type of
biggest thing.
person, I don't believe something unless I've
Yeah.
experienced it,
Yeah.
right?
100%. Yeah.
Or can do it. I'm not just going to blindly believe everything that anybody tells me.
Yes. Which is the right thing to do in
Maybe
my
that
in
gets me in trouble.
No, I think that's healthy because 'cause I'm like that. No, no, I don't believe what you're gonna tell me. Like, it's the same thing when
But I
someone
mean,
tells me
in general, like,
yeah. But I
people
think
tell me stuff and I really, like,
but it's healthy. It's healthy to have that, I think, that kind of attitude where somebody's telling you something and you're gonna be like, "Okay." But I'm gonna wait and see what I experience. All right, I'm gonna see what I find out. I
hmm
get that all the time. People, especially when people are telling me something about somebody else. Okay, well, that's your experience with them. Let me see what mine is gonna be. All right, like teach their own. I think that's also a good point that you brought up right there. Yeah. because
Yeah.
you will have
Yeah,
people that you tell that you're going to get a like, that you're gonna tell a friend, you're gonna tell a family member, and I guarantee you that there will be somebody that's going to have something to say about you going to see a medium,
oh,
about
yes.
you getting a tarot reader, and even when they've had little to no experience.
They're
By the
always
way, it's oh
in the little comments
yeah.
when
By the
you're
way,
on
everybody
TikTok
poo
live,
poo
right?
yeah. Everyone who poo poos it, whether it's somebody in your life or somebody in the comments, like Kim says, they poo poo it. They've never even had one. They've never even had one. I'm gonna die by that because I know it's true. The amount of people who have said things about, like, me doing tarot, and there's lots. And I always say, "Well, have you ever had one?"
Mm,
"Well, no, why would I?" "Oh, well." "Okay, well, your opinion what you just said is invalid." That's usually what I say, because it's true. If you haven't experienced it, you don't know. You don't know.
no, and we're all so individual. Like everybody is different. You can have whatever beliefs you want, but
Yeah.
don't ever force that on someone else.
No. Oh, I hate that. I hate it.
Me as well.
I hate it.
Just because you think it's
Yeah.
a bad thing, maybe you did have a reading, but maybe you got yourself duped. So
It
that's something you got
happens.
to look at yourself, right? Opposed to trying to just label every single one.
And it happens.
And
It happens.
it's really sad. I don't know about the tarot. I assume it's the same with like the tarot group, but like with the mediumship and stuff, you know, mediums are just awful about each other.
Yeah, it can be like that with tarot.
You know, like they sit there and this is wrong and this is what they're doing, and they will
Judge.
have lives that
Mm.
will be like hours with people going on about how they're scamming and they're scamming and
Oh,
and it's just like maybe you should focus on yourself and what you're doing and what you're putting out. Because when
yeah.
you're putting out that negativity about other people, that says a lot about who you are.
Yes. I will
And
stay away.
it's very sad.
I was just gonna say, I stay away from any medium that I see on TikTok, because I see them on the lives, prejudging another medium, whether it's tarot. But usually, I find mediums who speak with spirits tend to judge their, colleagues very harshly, and the way that they go about it. And the second I see a medium do that, I'll either block them if they follow me, or I won't even pay attention to it. I won't. That's a red flag right there. And I know we had the red flag section, so we probably missed it. But if you see a tarot reader, if you see a medium constantly bashing someone in the field, and I'm not talking about, that one person that was actually proven to be a fraud, because it happens. There will be people
Mhm.
that you find out are frauds, but you can definitely look that up and you'll find out that they're frauds. But if there's a medium or a tarot reader out there that is bashing medium after medium after medium, or tarot reader after tarot reader after tarot reader, you stay away from those ones. I'm telling you right now, stay away, because they are ones you don't want to get trifle with. You don't. And there's a lot of them out there, which is so sad.
No.
I hate that. How they can't be supportive. I don't get it.
It, and that's the thing. Like, if you're working through love and light, why would you be like that? But I guess it's just how we are as a society. If somebody doesn't have the same thoughts or whatever, or you feel threatened, suddenly you're bashing them on, Facebook or whatever, and not acceptable, at least to me.
No, it's not. I don't like it. I don't like it. I hate it as much as when people are pushy. That's another thing. Oh my gosh. Don't be pushy with your readings. Okay. This piggybacks off what I said earlier. Like when you're in a medium reading, don't interrupt them. Don't push them. Let them get it all out and wait. And the same thing with tarot. If you book your reading, most likely your tarot reader is going to say something like, "Oh, I do, this, a day turnaround or a couple day turnaround. My turnaround's 24 to 48 hours." Don't continuously message and message and message. Where's my reading? Where's my reading? Where's my reading? You will get your reading. You will get your reading. There are tarot readers that do same day readings for like a substantial amount of money. I have considered it. I don't have time to do it, so it won't ever happen. If you're a client of mine, you won't, it's rare that you're going to get same day readings. I don't have the time. Kim knows that. So patience with your reader. Okay. Whether they're talking to a spirit or whether they're doing it, just be patient. You're going to get it, and you're going to get a really great reading. Right?
And again, we're not circus monkeys.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Thank you. Circus monkeys. Okay. Oh.
because I really feel that that's what people want
Yep.
us to do. They want us to
Yes.
entertain them. They
Yeah.
want us to jump, jump, jump. But we're human. We are working with realms that you can't see.
Mhm.
So I don't think you should treat it as flippant as people do, you know, because they're like, oh yeah, this is what they do, whatever. No, like this is something that we work on. And especially people who are like, oh, well, that's too much. Well, if you knew how much money we spent at developing ourselves,
Yeah.
taking courses, traveling to see, to take stuff with mentors, taking class, like these things aren't free.
Mm.
you
No.
know our development between our time and the amount of money we spent to do these things,
Yep.
or some people
Yep.
spend on cards, just kidding.
Okay. It's true though.
It's not like we're just giving free, we get it free so we're giving it.
No. And
I
it's
saw
never,
kind of a funny thing
I was going to
just
say it's
the other
never
day.
free.
Said if it's your friend, don't expect it for free. If it's really your friend, offer to pay. you know
Yes. Yeah. Mhm. I like that. It's true though. And by the way, it is never free, guys, because like Kim says, the amount of money, the programs like especially for Kim, she went through an actual program, and yes, my tarot, obsession, that's fine, fair. But it is never free because for us to get into that, I should say, energy, it's not a light switch. We're not just picking up a pair of cards and we're like, okay, let's go. No, we actually have to, some of us meditate, some of us pray, some of us just get really relaxed. It takes us energy to get into a place where we can see clearly and we can give you the answers that you need, or we can channel the people that are waiting to speak with you. It's not a light switch. We can't turn it on and off. That would be fantastic. And my God, would that save me and Ken so much energy and time. And what happens after we're done reading, guys? I think we should do an episode about it, what happens after we do readings. But 9 times out of 10, we don't stop readings and then we're like, okay, yeah, I'm going on my day. I'm going to the gym. No, we need to recharge. Like energetically, we need to recharge. So remember that also takes a toll on us. It's not easy. It's not easy. Anyone can learn how to do tarot. I stand by that. I will always stand by that. Anyone can do tarot, but you do have to learn.
Not me.
Yes, you can. You do have to learn, but you do also have to learn how to use your energy so you can be the best medium that you can be. Like Kim doesn't just turn a light switch on and pick up spirits. She gets herself in I don't know. I just felt like I had to throw that in there. It's true though.
Well, I personally don't get drained from doing readings. I actually get energized. So if I'm doing readings late at night, I cannot sleep
Oh, that's right. You've told me that.
because I
That's
have
right.
been energized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've told me that.
Yeah. I can be exhausted, but I can go do a reading and it'll charge me.
I like that though. Oh my God, this is already an hour. And I have
Do
a
you have
question.
questions today?
I have one question. So this actually question just came to me this week and I thought it was from a client and I thought it was brilliant because, oh my God, I've experienced this. Kim has experienced, well, you guaranteed whoever's listening has experienced this. Okay. So she asked me, Nicole, is there a timeline with signs? Because I was told by a medium I would get something when this showed up in my reality and it showed up several times, but I didn't get the thing I was supposed to. That's a good question, eh?
Well, what did you do to stop it from happening? Did you doubt it?
See, okay, so interesting. I'm going to tell her to listen to this episode. So the thing with signs and timelines, generally not, unless you ask for a timeline. Seriously, you can be like, universe, show me a guy wearing a Pepsi shirt within the next 24 hours, and I know that I'm getting the promotion. I've done that. I've done that so many times, and you'll most likely see that sign. But your thoughts also create your reality, right? We do know this. So that's why Kim said that. What did you do? Because what were your inner thoughts? What were your inner thoughts when it came to this thing that you wanted to bring into your reality? Were they positive, or were they that little tiny little ego voice of yours coming in and telling you, no, it's not going to happen. No, but that person's not doing this. No, but you're not, he's not doing this. No, no. So we got to be careful. Your dominant thoughts, people, your dominant thoughts. Okay. You can think something over and over again, but if you're letting that little ego of yours tell you the opposite, what do you think's going to win? Unfortunately, the ego. So yeah.
Yep.
So no, I don't think that there's a timeline for signs unless you ask for a timeline, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and just be open to it. I have started actually, instead of asking for specific things, I will say, give me something that is so unmistakable that I
Yeah.
can't question it.
Yeah. She did that, by
And
the
it's
way.
happened.
She did that, by the way.
I
I
did.
just have to say, this client of mine did that once, by the way, and then she got it and she was shook by it. And she got it more than once, and it was something she would never get. So, like Kim says, do that. I don't do that enough. I should, just because it's fun, but it works.
Well, look what I did a few weeks ago.
Yeah. 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 Kim had a couple of major signs. Couple of major signs and I love it. Sometimes I forget to ask for signs, so I live through the stories of everybody else's. Anyway,
And I'm always asking for signs.
I know. I know you are. I know. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for joining this episode. I loved it. And here's a fun fact about this episode, Kim. Shall we tell them? We had recorded this episode in September, August, and it went missing. It disappeared. So
And
we
we
had to,
tried to record it a couple times
yeah, I think 3. Yeah.
after.
So I
Yeah.
don't know what the universe was doing to us. Why? Maybe this episode's supposed to come out when it's supposed to come out. That's how energy works sometimes. Alignment. I have no idea. But this episode was recorded to come out sometime in September. It never did because we lost the episode. So we're sneaking it in to the episode count now. The Sitters episode. But you know what's funny is the first time that we recorded it, I did have as much fun as I did this time with this episode. I remember. Anyway.
Oh, we're definitely a few in because I think this is the 12th.
It is. It is. And the next one we're so excited about. We're going to be talking about the Fox sisters, which I hope some people, listeners, know of. Most people don't. So if you don't know who they are, don't be discouraged. A lot of people don't, which is very interesting to me because their story's like freaking phenomenal. So it'll be, I don't think we have a title for it yet. I don't want to call it frauds because I don't feel that they were frauds, but like
No. And it's
skeptic.
basically the Fox sisters is the beginning of modern spiritualism.
Yeah. Fascinating story. Fascinating story. I really hope they make it a series or a movie once, like that show, like it shows it justice, because I really feel like it's anyway. We won't go too far into it, except that you guys will love to hear about the Fox sisters. And by all means, before the next episode airs, freaking watch a documentary on them. Read some stuff about them. Like you would be shocked. Shocked. So we're doing a little episode
Yeah,
about
there are definitely documentaries, just YouTube or whatever, you'll find stuff.
yeah. So I'm super excited for that one because I'm dorky that way, but that's okay. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.